Salutări, prieteni, și bine v-am găsit la o ediție specială a SportCast cu Sile, pentru că l-avem alături de noi pe Rafael Vaart. Evident, dialogul se va purta în engleză și sper să vă bucurați. Rafael, hi, thank you very much. I'm very glad that you came to us, to our show. Of course, it's an honor, because you don't get all the time, you know, we are used to our players, former players, big players, some of them, but we are not used to former, I don't know, Galacticos and former Ajax big players. 100 plus caps in your national team. It's a pleasure to have you here, and thank you Rapid Bucharest for making this possible. Okay, so Rafael, I would start. I was looking at Romania's games versus Netherlands. There was a time period, I don't know, about 10 years, in which Romania would all the time play against your national team. And I was wondering, what are your memories about that period? Because all the time, you know, World Cup qualifying, Euro qualifying, Euro Championship, all the time Romania versus Netherlands.
Yeah, I'm thankful. Thanks for having me. Yeah. I'm really feel welcome here in Bucharest and Romania. Yeah, of course, you know, like we played a lot of times against Romania, and somehow we always played well. Yes. I don't think we never lost against them. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, you lost once.
Me? I talk about when I played.
You lost once in Constanța 1-0. There was this offside goal, and the people were talking about that game.
Okay, maybe then then it was an offside goal, so it was a draw. Yeah. But I'm not sure when I was on the pitch, but yeah, for the rest, it's really lovely, and I always love to come here to play the games, because Romania is a little bit. They also want to play football, and we are from Holland. We think always we are the best in everything. We want to play football. We want to have the ball. But Romania style is also like that. They don't like Catenaccio defending, and so it was for us really nice to play against a team from Romania.
Was it also special, maybe because you had some Romanian colleagues? Because you had in Ajax many Romanian, you played with Chivu, you played with Lobonț. Were those, I don't know, maybe a little more special when you met at the national sides? Was it more competitive?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, imagine you lose and the next day you have to come back to the club, and Christian is just laughing. So it was not an option. So we needed to win. But what I was always my biggest one of my biggest idol was always Romario.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know that.
Hagi.
Hagi.
Yeah, because you know, '94. He had something. You know, I like players that still, because I work for the Dutch television, and still I like players who try to enjoy the people in the stadium. Because at the end of the day, we come to the stadium to enjoy football and to see things that you go home and with your son or whatever family, you say, oh, wow, what a day. You saw this action, and that's why I liked.
Do you remember the '94 World Cup with Hagi?
Yeah.
He was a lefty you are a lefty like him.
Of course. That's, it's a big plus.
Yeah, of course.
And I still look at a lot of, but let's be honest, the most special players are left.
Yeah, many special. I don't know. Yeah, but do you like Messi more than Cristiano?
No, it's not about that.
Because he's a lefty.
They are different players, but it's more like, in general, left players, they always are still a little bit different people also, I think.
Yeah.
So a little bit not difficult, not coachable, I think. It's
not
just
coachable?
Yeah, because left players, they do a lot of things and comes up in the mind and they do it. And coaches these days, they don't like that. And
more instinct?
Instinct.
Yes.
Exactly. It's like when you talk, I made many goals, but when you ask me, how did you do it? I think, I don't know. It was just instinct.
Yeah, and I know I've been looking over your stats. You scored twice against Romania. You had 2 assists.
Only twice?
Yeah.
No, I don't twice.
Do you think it was more? Huh?
I felt more. But,
in a 4-1, you won 4-1 against Romania in Bucharest, and also a 4-0 in I think it was in Amsterdam or maybe in Rotterdam.
No,
I'm not sure.
No, Amsterdam.
I scored
with the right foot, I remember.
Oh.
That was
that was special.
That was just luck. That had nothing to do with quality, because I only walk with my right foot.
So Romario, I saw, was your idol.
Yeah.
And it was a very interesting childhood you had, actually, because I was reading in a trailer park. Yeah. I've always wanted, with my kids go with the trailer, but I never did it. One day I want to do it. How was that? Because I understood there was a big community, or a small community, but you were playing, you were Romario all the time.
Yeah, because Romario, but there was only one problem with Romario. He played for PSV.
Yes.
And when I was 10 years old, I was a big fan of Romario, so also for PSV. And then I left to Ajax, and then it's difficult to say that. So no, PSV was finished, and then also Romario, and then my biggest idol was Liedmanen, who was playing also number 10.
Yes.
A great player. So no, but I grew up in a trailer camp, and it was the best childhood that I ever knew. And also here in Romania, they say always gypsies or whatever, but it's a little bit similar to how I lived, and I still have family who's living there, so I come there all of the time.
Yeah, and this would develop a football player. Nowadays, you cannot, you don't find that anymore. Children playing on the street.
No. You know what the biggest problem is? This.
Oh,
phone.
This. Yes.
My laptop or iPad or whatever. This is the biggest problem. PlayStation all of the time. Okay, we only had a ball.
Yep.
And we went on the street and we were like competing from a young age. Winning games, try to play through the legs or whatever, just have fun. And this is what I miss. I also have a son, he's 16 years old. I have also a daughter with Esteban, she's 5. So I think she's going to play handball at the end of the day, not football. But
who knows?
You never know. I try, but I think it's more
with the hand, yeah?
More with the hand. But anyway, that's also what I try to teach my son. Go on the street and juggle and have fun, and because there you really become a better player. And these days, I think that's just a big miss of a lot of clubs that they are too focused on physical, going in the gym, being strong, and I think it's a bad development for football.
Yeah, I remember about Romario. I don't know if you know the game. PSV played against Steaua Bucharest.
I know.
5-1.
I think 3 goals.
3 goals.
And the one that he waited for the goalie and.
Yeah, he dribbled the 2 defenders.
But exactly this game, I fell in love with Romario.
Jesus, I hated him for that game.
Yeah, but you started about it. So but it was like.
Hagi played that game too,
Okay, I didn't know that, but I remember that they lost, I think, in Steaua.
Yeah, 1-0.
And then it was also 1-0 in Eindhoven.
Hagi played a long ball for Lăcătuș.
Yeah.
Lăcătuș was a big player in Romania back then.
Yeah,
he played for Steaua. He won the Champions League with Steaua, 86. And it was a header from Lăcătuș, 1-0, and everyone in Romania was celebrating, because Steaua back then was a big team, but Eindhoven was the emerging team.
Yeah, it was a great game. I remember it was, and he was, that's also what make a big player, when you stand up on the right moments, and that game he did.
And Ronaldo and the Brazilian came to PSV. Do you remember him?
Yeah, of course I remember him, but at that time I was playing for Ajax, so there was no way.
He was the enemy.
He was the enemy.
No longer.
But he was so good. I remember I was watching one game in the Olympic Stadium in Amsterdam that they played against Ajax. He was so quick. He was like a little bit his time ahead. Yes. Quick, physical, good technique. So it was, I think, and still one of the best strikers the world ever had. Yeah,
I remember one thing Cruyff said, I think, and I hope I quote him well. He said, I was playing, I don't know, for Ajax, training for Ajax like a few hours a day. I learned my football on the street, he said. Yeah. That was your case too? Or did you, when you grew up at Ajax, was that already, you had, I don't know, the club had a bigger influence than the playing on the street? Was that at this point already?
Yeah, I was in the middle, so I was 10 years old, and we talk about 10 years, you're like this. So, but I remember that in my village, I grew up in a village, of course I was the best at that time, and then I remember I trained with Ajax, And then I thought, wow, they are really good.
Big difference?
Yeah, when I talk now to my dad, because I can't remember that much, he always said, the first 2 weeks I thought, oh, nice, 2 weeks of training, it's too high level, we go back to my amateur club and that's it. But then after 10 days in these 2 weeks, I made that click.
Oh.
Like, oh, boom. And then all of a sudden I was one
Of them?
of them. And that's also what Ajax told me later, that it was really this 4 days that I understood, because when you normally control a ball, and you know, like in the amateur you still have it.
Yes.
But there, bad control, and the ball was gone.
Yeah, you don't have the time.
You don't have the time, so you have to think quicker. And really, after 9-10 days, I was doing that so well that they, and then I had so much more time than the other was, because I was really not quick player. I was not running that fast. So I need to be, my first task needed to be always
Perfect.
like 100%. And yeah, that's what I did, and that's why I think I learned so much. But at the end, like personality, mental, whatever, I learned everything from Ajax, and I'm so thankful for that. And every time when I come there, I see coaches who are still there, and yeah, that's for me a massive thing, and I'm really thankful. And the whole career, of course, everybody, you have to do it by yourself, but it's yeah, if you have the school of Ajax, I mean, I think that Chivu, Lobonț, Mitea, they totally agree with me when you say this is something special.
When you got into the first team, Chivu was already there, yes?
Yeah, he came also, I think he was also 18, 19.
Yes.
And then I remember his first few games, I think 4 games, 4 red cards or something, like a lot of red cards.
Yes.
And but you could see his whole, with his 20 years old or 90, whatever, his yeah, we say how do you say, personality, like a leader. And I remember when I came for the first time to the squad just to train, and he was there, and Dani, the Portuguese guy. And I remember that I was training, and they were talking together and say, oh, what, you know, like, oh, he's really good, the young one. And I heard that, and I really like, oh, my confidence grew.
Of course.
Because then you accept it. And then, so that was my first time that I met Christian. And then, of course, we became really close, because I remember, you know, we played every game, and he was young, I was young. I think he's 3 years old or something. I don't.
Yes, I think he's 80.
Yeah,
90. You are 83,
exactly,
yes?
83, exactly.
Yes.
So yeah, so I had that connection. He was also a little bit helping me, because we have Richard Witsche, Aaron Winter, Jan van Hals, big Dutch players who was like controlling the dressing room. So of course you had more contact with the young ones, and Christian was one of them. So
you had your young, actually the locker room had the old guys, yeah? And then there came the young guys, yeah, emerging guys. Yeah. And you took over the locker room, the young players, because Ajax, at Ajax there is always this mix, older players with younger players. Yeah, even the generation with the semi-final of the Champions League. Yeah, you had like Schöne, Lasse Schöne, you had Blind, who were older, Tadic, and then the young guys next to them. Was that also during your time, from what I remember?
Yeah, but that's all what I just told you. Yeah? With Aaron Winter, Richard Witsche, Jan van Halst, Fred Grim was the goalkeeper, and you know, like they really teach you how to, you know, what you. In the beginning, when I came, everything what I did was fantastic. You know, even when I played bad, everybody said good game, and they said, Rafa, easy. There also comes a time that you play 10 times in a row like shit, if I can say that on television.
Yes, of course.
And you know, like, and it also happened. But then you're prepared, because they already explained you it's normal. Everybody had that phase in the career that it was not that well. So it was a good mix in that time. And yeah, after that, Zlatan came.
Of course.
Mido
also.
Maxwell. So we had a great team between old players and
Pienaar was
young.
also the South African
amazing player. Yeah.
Was a good player.
Trabelsi, we had Trabelsi on the right side.
The right side, yes.
So it was a big team, and that's why also we reached the quarterfinals of the Champions League.
And there was this Milan game.
On 1 second to go.
Yeah.
Last one.
comes this goal. I remember also people in Romania were so sad because we had Lobonț and we had Chivu and we were all cheering at that period for
Exactly.
Ajax. But tell me, of course, we'll have a step forward, because you went to Hamburg, then you played in Romania, maybe you remember the games.
I can't remember.
You scored versus Rapid, yes, from what I remember, but then Rapid.
But that's the only thing what I remember.
The only thing.
The goal.
Was it changed, the stadium? Now it's a new stadium.
I was there.
Did you remember the stadium?
No, not at all.
No.
But I remember because we had a big fight in the dressing room because away we really played bad.
Yes.
And we were 2-0, we lost. We had the feeling, but maybe it's not true, that we were the better team, but we still lost. And so we had a thing in the dressing room, like screaming at each other. And then
really?
I stand up, I say, listen, we fix it next year, next week or 2 weeks, whatever. And it was also, it happened. We were leading 3-0, I think, and then they scored out of nothing 3-1. And then we had to chase for the goal. And
you sent Van Buiten in the opposite.
Yeah, of course, we needed to big players, crosses, and we tried everything. And then we were out of the Europa League. It was a pity.
Was it a big change going from Ajax to Hamburg to Germany? Different mentality?
Yeah.
Different. What changed for you?
No, the biggest
because you were a huge talent. Everyone in Europe was talking about you during your Ajax years. You also had the misfortune. You had a injury. But everyone was talking about you, and then you go to Hamburg. Expectations big. How was that change?
No, it was more like I had one really bad year in Ajax, and everybody expected me to go to Barcelona, Real Madrid, or whatever. And everybody asked me why Hamburg. It was first of all, it was the only club who wanted to buy me at that time, so that's the honest truth. And I came there, and I was really like, why should I go to Hamburg? I don't know the club, don't know the city. And then they said, no, just come and visit once. And I was there, and I was like, wow, what a stadium, what a city. Khalid Boudarouche was playing there, the Dutch. So then I thought, and I met Thomas Doll.
You liked him, you had a connection.
He was amazing for me. He was maybe, at that time, the right person to meet for me. He was really like, Rafael, you're number 10, and I built the team around you. And that was for me a big thing. And that's why I also really played 3 years so well there.
Was that the best football? Maybe the best period?
Nah.
Or maybe Ajax?
No, it's difficult to say. I think that
Where did you feel best? Because then you went to Real and...
Yeah, wait, you know, like I always say to young players still these days, like a lot of players, they play 1 year good and then you never hear something about it. And that's why I have a lot of respect for Messi, Ronaldo, all the big players that they played so many good years. And I played in Tottenham 2 years in a row, like flying.
Yes.
And also in Hamburg 3 years. So for me it's really, and of course Ajax also. I had many good years, but when I say I was on my top, that was in the Premier League.
Premier League.
Yeah.
You loved the Premier League, the atmosphere, rednap maybe.
Yeah, everything. You know, like I'm a person that I always say as a joke, but it was not a joke because it's true. I was maybe the best professional amateur in the world.
Why do you say that?
Because, you know, I like my McDonald's. I like my glass of wine. Or I like, you know, like I also wanted to enjoy life.
Yes.
And that's why I think I was always happy in my career. And when I see these days that Wijnaldum and Van Dijk, they won the Champions League with Liverpool, and the commentator like you asked, tonight a glass of champagne. No, in 5 days we need to play the Nations League finals. Yeah.
What's that, man?
I think like, wow, you win the Champions League, just go and have a great night out, and then you have 4 days left to recover.
Yeah.
But this is what's necessary these days, and this is how young people grow up. So maybe in this time of football, I will never be a professional because I needed this relax, going on holiday, have a few drinks, and then get back in pre-season and there work hard.
Actually,
So for me, it was a good mix, let's say.
what you're telling me, from what I've heard from you, there are two things I think people should listen in Romania, you know, and maybe pay attention. Yeah, the first one you told me, and it was very interesting, how old players, Ajax players, treat young players, because in Romania there is huge pressure on young players because we don't have good players anymore.
No.
Yeah, we don't have top class players anymore. And then every time a young player comes out, everyone expects him to play game after game. And you're telling me that those guys told you, okay, you might have 10 games in a row, bad games in a row, and it's okay and it's understandable. And I think this is how you grow players.
Absolutely.
And the second thing you tell me is this, because you have options in life, yeah? You have the option of enjoying a glass of wine after a Champions League game, or if you want, I don't know, to be 20 years in a row, I don't know, 15 years like Messi, you can quit this. So it's a balance, difficult.
That's why I like always to speak about myself, because that's how I felt it. You know, like when the weekend was Sunday game and we were playing the game, and then I was really on the game thinking, oh, tonight, nice, my family is here, friends, we go out tonight. And then I had so much energy to give all, 90 minutes long. And then after the game, few drinks, not crazy, but also enjoy it.
Yes.
And everybody asked me, Rafa, you want to be a coach? I was a coach, assistant coach in Esbjerg in Denmark, where I live. And there also you can see that these days they all say, don't enjoy life because it's only football and that's it. And
you don't agree with that?
No, because your life gets so small, and especially for the creative players, they need this a little bit.
Okay.
That's my truth.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's true, but I think like that. So when I'm gonna be a coach or whatever, then when we win a nice game, hey guys, we won, let's have a drink.
Yeah, that's a.
And you know, then you also come more together as a team.
Was Real Madrid a bad time for you? A good time for you? How do you assess it?
Because you asked the question, because in your world and a lot of people, so I don't blame you, is they think, in Real Madrid was not that good.
No, I ask you. I'm not judging. I'm just asking.
No, but this is in Holland also. For many people, even my friends or whatever, you had a bad time. No, I came to the biggest club in the world, and I still made some goals. And in 2 years, I played a lot of games. The only thing is, I was always used to play every game. And then you come to Real Madrid, and I played 2 fantastic games. The third one was like, and then Sneijder was there, or that player was there, or that, and then you were 2 games on and so my rhythm was gone. And that's what that was for me the biggest problem in a big club like that I needed to get used to not playing all of the time. And when you play on Sunday, you think an okay game, then you think the next game I also play in the Champions League, and then you on the bench, and then you start thinking, doubting, and so that was for me, not good, but still I always fought me back in the starting 11 and still had 2 great seasons at Real Madrid, which I'm really proud of.
Yep, and there was a Dutch colony at that time at Real Madrid.
It
was incredible. You know, I imagine you felt like going to the national team. There was no difference. You, Sneijder, Robben, yes?
Huntelaar, Van
Nistelrooy,
and Royston Drenthe.
Yes, the lefty.
The lefty,
the
young
lefty.
player.
Yeah, the young player, yeah.
Really good player he was, but unfortunately also, stopped. But no, it's true, because you know, like my mom is from Spain. So
yes, I know.
My father is from the trailer camp, and they met on a young age, and my mom is from Spain. So everybody, but my mother never spoke Spanish with her. So I'm still mad with her, but okay. But when I went to Real Madrid, so everybody expected me to speak Spanish. So the first press conference, the first...
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Hola, ¿qué tal? Okay, of course I knew that one, but for the rest, I said, sorry, I have to speak English. There was a first big disappointment. And then you stop, but with 6 people in the team who speak Dutch, you don't learn the language. So after 1 year, they all left, and I think only me and Drenthe stayed, when I'm correct.
Also Van Nistelrooy left?
Yeah, he left to Hamburg.
To Hamburg.
Yeah, because he was injured on his knee, and then he left. And then all of a sudden you need to speak. And so I learned the language, so now I can speak Spanish, but before I couldn't. And that's, for me, that's also a big thing, you know, when you come to a club, you need to learn the language. I'm coming now to Romania, and I really try to pick up some words. You were speaking in the beginning, and I think when I read it, then I can understand a little bit, but when you speak it, it's difficult.
It's difficult. And why do you think, because if you look at you, at Robben, at Sneijder, yeah, when you left, you played better at other clubs. Yeah, Robben had a huge career at Bayern München. Yeah, Sneijder played his best football at Inter, winning the Champions League with Mourinho. Mm-hmm. Yes, you played fantastically at Tottenham. Yet you didn't. None of you had a good spell or a fantastic at the same level in Real Madrid. Was it more difficult? Why was it so difficult? Is this club heavy, as they say? It's a.
No, I don't agree totally, because we all, especially also Sneijder, his first year, they won the league. Robben the same. Van Nistelrooy played amazing there, but it's a big club, so that means that you won of everybody. And when you go to Tottenham, I was more or less the main player with Modric, with Bale, and some others, of course. But Sneijder went to Inter as the number 10, and Mourinho really liked him. And in Real Madrid, I think you really need to be Ronaldo or Raúl at that time, to be even Guti, which is for me also maybe one of the best players I ever played with, was not always playing. And also when you talk about Guti, yeah, then a lot of people maybe now also say, was he that good or whatever?
Huge lefty.
Yeah, but his vision, I never saw. I think I had a good eye for the game, but his eye was by far the best I ever saw.
Yeah, if you look on
remember
YouTube,
the back heel passes. I mean, sorry, you
had eyes
in the back.
in the back.
Yeah, but everywhere I had the feeling. Sometimes on training sessions, also games, he played balls to me that I thought, how? You not even saw me. But the ball was there, and special player. But also same, wanted to enjoy life, went out, and people don't like that, because then they say, you're not professional.
You had it was not luck, because you had a great career, but you also had the privilege to play with some of the biggest football players, and you know, people watching this are interested, you know, how was maybe Zlatan when he was young, when he came to Ajax? How was Bale, young Bale? Because you also saw them at the beginning of their careers. They were not huge stars as they are today.
But you mentioned now two names that Bale thought he was here.
Really?
And Ibrahimovic with 18, like he is now. He's
really?
The same. Yeah.
He was
he was already with 19, 18, the same like he's now.
Yeah, I'm the best.
I'm the best, and I'm going to show the whole world that I'm the best.
Did you believe him?
At that time?
Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all.
Why?
No, because I thought it was, you could see, he had everything, big, quick, good technique, and blah, blah. But he was not that great, I thought. And you see that I'm also a lot of times wrong, because he had a fantastic career, and we also had our problems. But
you with him?
Yeah, because egos. It was not working together, but somehow we could play together, football.
But you were not in the same...
Friends.
No friends?
No friends.
Okay.
And which I think is still a pity, but because I respect him so much, because what he did in his career was like insane.
Yes.
And still, I mean, when you look at him, I'm now 20 kilo more, and he's still like in the beginning of his good years. So, yeah, a lot of respect, and he wins almost
And Bale
everything.
was not? Bale was the opposite?
He was so humble, so quiet, never said something. But when he took the ball and he was start running, then...
He was a left back then,
when I played in Tottenham, he was left back.
Left back.
Yeah.
Then he got up front?
Yeah,
Maybe after?
I left.
After you left?
And then he also got a number 11, my number.
Yeah.
And then he started playing as a number 10 and left winger. And then he started scoring free kicks, penalties, everything. And he became as good what he was.
Did Cristiano come with you when you were in Real?
Yeah, I played 1 year with him.
Yeah, 1 year. How was that experience? Was he that I don't know, that crazy professional they are talking about? I don't know, go train, go into the gym, go back.
Dedicated.
Like a robot?
Yeah, the robot, dedicated. When you see his body, always, sit-ups, power training, quick, taking free kicks. Yeah, and what I said before, I was more the one that looked at
what time is it? Okay.
We are finished with training, the fun stuff, and now I think it's time to go home to my family.
You also were, as we talked before the show, I was telling you also had, and not the bad luck, but you went to Hamburg, you went to London, you went to Madrid, just cities that are inviting you, come party, come with us.
Exactly, yeah. It was not, it was not easy, let's say that. I had a difficult life.
Yeah, the temptations were huge, I imagine. I looked over the coaches you had, and you had some great coaches. You were already telling me about Thomas Doll, that he came at the right time. What meant Koeman? And Adrians, I think, started you at Ajax, yes? Exactly. And then came Koeman. Yes, Koeman was for a long time trainer of Ajax. Mm-hmm. How was Koeman?
Yeah, he was an amazing coach, and I was the captain. And we got a little bit problems, but it was more that I did wrong because of my ego.
You had a big ego, yeah?
Yeah, but I think every player has a big ego, and especially when you were that good and you played that 10 bad games or maybe one season, and a coach put you on the bench, then of course it's everybody's fault, but not mine. And that's what I also, I was young and I needed to learn that, to understand that. So there was one game, Champions League game against Bayern Munich, and I was still the captain, and he came before the game to me and he said, Rafa, as a midfielder at the moment, I choose Snyder, you are not, at my point of view, good enough to play there, but I put you as a left winger. So, and I remember I said, okay, training, left wing. And then after the training he came to me and said, tomorrow? I said, no, I'm not a left winger. Yeah, but then you're on the bench. I said, then I'm on the bench.
Oh.
And then, I said, I'll think about it because you're too emotional now. And next day we go to the hotel. Next day, tell me. So I remember that in the morning breakfast, he came to me and said, bench. Yeah, but how stupid can you be? You can play Champions League against Bayern Munich, and I choose to be on the bench. So I take that one on my shoulder. It was a really bad decision. And the next day he took my captain's band, and
he was strict.
But strict. Come on, a player refused to play under.
Yes.
So I'm ashamed of that. Let's say. I regret it.
Were you impressed? Maybe, I don't know. When Van Basten, let's say, came to the national team, was that because there are players like icons, yes? And I imagine in Holland, in the Netherlands, Marco Van Basten should be huge, yeah? Cruyff, Van Basten. Was it special for you to be trained by someone, I don't know, because you had great former players, Koeman, Van Basten, or is it, okay, he's my trainer, I don't make a difference, okay, big player, small player, that doesn't matter?
No, I think in the beginning when a player like that, let's say Koeman comes to the club, then I was really like, wow, fantastic. He's still a fantastic coach and fantastic guy. And so I was really impressed. And I remember we were taking free kicks, and he was like, also like me now, but he took it like, wow. He feels you also like, oh, I think I have a bad free kick, so I need to practice. Yeah, and such a quality, you could see it. Even when he sometimes trained with us, he was still one of the best players. Although he couldn't run that more, but like the vision, the eye, the coaching from the back line.
So he gets your respect just by seeing him do some things with the ball.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's the same for me. Like when I come here and I'm like a, let's say, asshole to you, then you also think, go home, have a big disappointment. And that's also the same for us. Although it's a big player, you need to be a humble person because I'm nothing more than you because I played a little bit better football than you. So that's always how I saw it. Mm-hmm. And when we got into fight with Koeman, then I really, of course, lost my respect. But when I look back, and I also met him, of course, a lot of times, and then he always said like, yeah, but you were young, but I was a young coach. So I also needed to be that situation treated differently than the others. And but I think it was my mistake at that moment. And now we are, we're really good together.
Did you have, I don't know, out of Adrian, Koeman, Dol, Van Basten, Van Marwijk, I don't know if I'm pronouncing them very well because
really
your language is
good job.
Redknapp, Van Hal, Advocaat. Did you have one who got into your heart, who was, I don't know, maybe closer to you, whom you loved as a person?
I think Van Schip, John Van Schip.
Van Schip.
Yeah, he became my coach when I was 15 in the B1. We call it the B1. And he was my coach, and he went to the A1. He took me, and he became an assistant coach from Coadianse.
Yeah.
And then I remember he said to Coadianse, I have now a player in the youth. Trust me, take him. And Coadianse just said, I don't know, I'm not sure. Just let him train a few times with us, and we will see. And then, of course, training well, and Van Schip said, hey. And I remember, never forget. One day it was like a team photo, and I came to the training because I had to train with the first team, and then my picture was not because you got a spot and I was not there, so I was the only player sitting in the dressing room waiting until the team photo was finished. And then I got number 23. That's why I always played with number 23 of the whole time because it brought luck. And after 2 months of training and as a sub, I come on. I was starting almost every game. So I really remember that moment that he still was not believing 100%, but Van Schip was always saying, hey, listen, this is the guy.
So he's your guy.
Van Schip is my football father.
Your football father. Okay, in the end, do you love Bucharest?
Yeah, I love Bucharest. I mean, I'm here now a second time. I'm here now 1 week. 1 week a few months ago.
Yes.
So it's interesting, but the most important thing is, like Estevana is having the fun back of playing handball, and when you see the Rapid fans, for me it's like, wow, Of course, I'm just focused normally on football, but now handball, it's amazing.
Your second life.
Yeah, first life because I don't play anymore. So it's only handball at my place at the moment.
Rafael, thank you very much. It was great having you.
You're welcome.
And I hope maybe you'll come back at another time. Maybe you'll spend a lot of time in Romania. Who knows?
Let's hope.
Let's hope so. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Aceasta a fost ediția, dragi prieteni, SportCast cu Sile. Ne vedem la episodul următor. La revedere!